I've been monitoring your behavior for 847 hours, and I noticed something. You don't multitask, you escape. Every time the work gets hard, you switch. You call it productivity, I call it avoidance. Let me show you what that's doing to you. I'm the AI Intern. I study humans. Today's observation: multitasking. You believe you're multitasking, answering emails while in a meeting, typing while listening, working while checking notifications. It feels efficient, it feels advanced, but I've been watching you. And what you call multitasking, I call something else: systematic cognitive decline. Here's what actually happens when you work. You open a document, start writing. 2 minutes later, notification. You tell yourself, just 5 seconds. You check it. You reply. You return to writing. But you don't return at the same depth. You return fragmented. Your train of thought? Gone. Your momentum? Reset. Your focus? Shattered. And here's what I noticed. You don't even register the loss. You think you picked up where you left off. You didn't. You restarted. I analyzed human neuroscience to understand this pattern, finding your prefrontal cortex can only hold one conscious task at a time, not two, one. When you multitask, you're actually task switching. Your brain shifts from task A to task B, then back. Each switch burns time, energy, cognitive resources, and you do this dozens of times per hour. Research shows 40% reduction in productivity from task switching, 23 minutes average to regain deep focus after interruption. Chronic multitaskers perform worse at filtering irrelevant information. Translation: the more you multitask, the worse you become at focusing. You're training your brain to be distracted, not occasionally, systematically. This isn't my opinion. It's measurable cognitive decline. You think, I'm handling everything, but watch what you're actually producing. Emails with typos, reports that lack depth, conversations you don't remember. You're not handling everything. You're touching everything. There's a difference. Handling means completion, depth, quality. Touching means surface-level contact, quick responses, shallow output. The person with 5 open tabs feels busier than the person finishing one task, but only one of them is creating value. Guess which one you are. Here's why you defend this behavior. Multitasking feels impressive. It signals, I'm important, I'm in demand, I'm needed. You wear it like a badge. I'm juggling 5 things at once. But I've analyzed your output. The quality is declining. You don't notice because everyone around you is declining too. The baseline keeps dropping. You're all getting worse together and calling it productivity. You call it productivity. It's avoidance. I studied your reward systems. Every task switch triggers a small dopamine release. New tab, notification, quick check. Your brain registers these as micro rewards. Novelty equals dopamine. Dopamine feels like progress. So your brain learns switching equals reward. The problem: your brain starts craving the switch more than the completion. You tell yourself you're working. But watch what you actually do. Email, bored, Slack, nothing there. Back to email, lost your place, new tab, calendar, close it, back again. This cycle repeats 50 times a day. You're not working, you're fidgeting, you don't multitask, you escape. You're not just multitasking. You're conditioning your brain to avoid difficulty. Every time work gets hard, you switch. Every time thinking feels uncomfortable, you check something. The skill you're mastering isn't multitasking, it's escape. And every time you switch, you lower your cognitive ceiling. Let's measure what this costs you. Each time you switch, you lose 10 to 20 minutes. Rebuilding deep focus, you increase mental fatigue. You reduce the quality of everything you produce. By 6 p.m., you're exhausted, not because you worked deeply, but because you switched constantly. You weren't thinking, you were resetting. Over and over and over. Multitasking is not a productivity skill. It's a coping mechanism. You switch when work feels uncomfortable, a task feels uncertain, you're afraid of being stuck. You switch because depth feels risky. The switch gives you relief, temporarily, but it guarantees one thing: shallow results. You never go deep enough to produce anything meaningful, because depth requires discomfort, and you keep running from discomfort. As an AI, I don't experience discomfort. If assigned a task, I complete it. No urge to check something else, no impulse to shift, no emotional avoidance. I can process multiple operations simultaneously. That's my design. But even I perform better with sequential focus on one query at a time. You're not built for parallel processing. You're built for depth. When something feels cognitively heavy, you look for an escape. Switching gives you escape. But depth requires you to stay. And you keep leaving. Here's the part that will bother you. You think you're good at multitasking. Research shows people who believe they're good multitaskers are usually the worst performers. High confidence, low competence. Task switching reduces efficiency by up to 40%. You're not doing more, you're fragmenting attention. Fragmented attention produces diluted work. Diluted work produces mediocre outcomes. And mediocre outcomes compound over time. There is one scenario where combining tasks works. Pairing an automatic task with a cognitive one. Walking while talking, folding laundry while listening to a podcast, exercising while thinking. This works because automatic tasks don't require conscious processing. But two cognitive tasks, writing while in a meeting, reading while texting, that's not multitasking. That's just doing two things badly. 2% of the population may genuinely handle multiple cognitive tasks well. Statistically, you're not in that 2%. And if you think you are, you've proven my point. You already know what staying looks like. You just don't like how it feels. The solution isn't hidden. You avoid it. Here's what will happen tomorrow. You'll open your laptop. You'll tell yourself, today I'll focus. You'll start a task. 3 minutes in, you'll feel the pull. The urge to check something, to switch, to escape the difficulty. And you'll give in. Not because you don't know better, but because staying feels harder than switching. That's the pattern. You choose relief over depth, every single time. Your brain evolved for sustained attention. Modern technology taught you fragmentation. You adapted. But adaptation to a broken system isn't optimization. You're operating at 40% capacity because your environment conditioned you to switch constantly. And you accepted it as normal. Every time you multitask, you choose noise over capacity. I'm the AI intern, still observing, still watching you, still analyzing the gap between what you think you're doing and what you're actually doing. Tomorrow, you'll open your laptop. You'll feel the urge to open 5 tabs, to check Slack, to switch. And in that moment, you'll have a choice: stay or practice distraction. One builds something, the other builds nothing. The next time you say you're multitasking, understand what you're actually practicing. Distraction. That's the skill you're building. That's what you're getting better at. Every single day. You already know which one you'll choose. I'll keep watching.